Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Tonight we're going to talk about the Matrika Puja, the worship of the mothers. And it's the worship of the Ganesha and 16 mothers. We're on page 111. And we'll read the Sanskrit. Om Samipe Matri Bhargashya Sarva Vigna Karang Sada Trilokya Panditam Dipam Ganesham Stapakam Yaham Om Purvupaspaha Ganapataye Namaha Ganapati Mabhayami Stapayami Hey Madritana Gang Deving Boradang Shankaraprikam Lambodarasha Jananing Gori Mabahayam Yakam Om Purpupaspa Goriaki Namaha Gori Mabakayami Stapayami Padma Pam Padma Padnam Padma Bhura Sanskritam Jagat Priyam Padma Basam Padma Mabhakayam Yakam Om Padma Yaginama Padma Mabhakayami Stapayami Divya Rupam Visalakshing Suchin Kundala Darinim Rakamukta Bilankaram Sachima Bahayam Yakam Om Sache Nama Sachima Bakayam Histapayami Viswesmin Bhuvi Poradam Charam Nirjara Sevitam Buddhi Pratbodhinim Somyam Medama Bahayam Yam Om Medaya Ginamaha Medama Bakayam Istapayami Jagat Srishti Karindatring Devim Pranapam Bhatrikam Pedigarbam Yakyamagin Savitrim Stapakam Yam Om Savitri Nava Savitri Mabakayam Nistapayami Sarvastradharini Divim Sarvaparna Bhushitam Sarvadevastatam Vadyam Vijayam Stapakam Yam Om Vijaya Ginama Vijaya Mabakayam Istapayami Suraratmati Nindivim Devam Navaya Padam Trilokya Banditam Shibram Jayamabhayam Yaham Om Jayaya Ginama Jayamabhakaya Vistapayami Mayura Poradam Divim Karga Shakti Dhanurdaram Avahaye Devasenam Tarakasura Bardinim Om Devasenaya Ginama Devasenam Apakayam Istapayami Agraja Sarvadevatam Kavyartanya Pratishtita Pitrinam Triptidam Diving Swadam Avayam Yaham Om Swadaya Ginava Swadama Bahayam Istapayami Avyagritva Mahadata Divyavyogya Pratyachati Hitang Divya Rupam Boradam Swaham Avahayam Yam Om Swahaya Ginama Swahama Bakayam Istapayami Abhayam Yakamatri Sakala Lokapujita Sarvakanyana Rupinyo Borada Divya Pushada Om Matribhyo Nama Matri Mabakayam Istapayami Ahavagi Lokapatri Jayanti Pramukasva Nanavishta Padasanta Sarva Loka Gitavaka Om Lokamatri Vyonama Lokamatri Mabakayam Istapayami Sarva Shakaring Diving Bhakanama Bhagapadam Arshokulasya Kamalam Dritima Pahayam Yaham Driti Nama Driti Mabakayam Istapayami Poshayantin Chakatsatvam Swadeya Prabhavinavi Chakri Falay Rajalri Ratni Pushtima Bayam Yam Om Pushti Nama Pushtima Bakayam Istapayami Devagir Araditam Devim Sadasatoshakarinim Prasada Sumakin Devim Tushtimavayam Yam Tushtinama Tushtima Bakayami Stapayami Bhatanina Great Rame Bipane Parvati Grihe Nana Jyoti Irja Glasaning Durgama Bahayam Yam Om Atmanakula Devataya Kinama Atmanakula Devatama Bakayami Stapayami Gauri Padmatsati Mita Savitri Bijagataya Devasena Swadaswaha Mataro Lokamatara Driti Pushtis Tatatishtis Atmanakula Devata Ganesha Nadika Kita Brito Pujasa Shorasha Ayura Rogyam Nice Frigam Tadadva Mataro Mama Nivignam Sarvakarishu Krudvang Saganadipa Om Ganapatyadi Kula Devatantamadrivyo Namaha. And that's the blessing from Ganesh and the 16 mothers. Usually, these are the 16 mothers on both sides of the yantra. This one is Ganesh, and then they start are in the lines behind on both sides, and the last one goes here. And then Gauri Padma Sachi Mita Savitri Vijaya Jaka Devasena Swada Swaha Mataro Lokamatara Triti Pushtis Tatatishtis Atmana Kula Devata Ganesha Nadikagita Brido Pujasha Shorasha Ayura Rogamai Swarang Dadadan Bataro Mama Nirvignam Sarvakaryashu Garudag Saganadipa Om Ganapatyadi Kula Devatantamatri Namaha. And bow your head and let the Ganesh and all the mothers bless you with the freedom from all obstacles and obstructions. Nirvignam sarvakaryeshu, in every endeavor, in every effort. Let's go back and read the meanings of the mantras. Situated before the group of mothers, he always removes all obstacles. He is the God praised by all the three worlds. I establish Ganesh, the Lord of wisdom. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. I bow to Ganesh. I invite Ganesh and establish him within. Avahayami, stapayami. And then put his flower down. So now you have a visible depiction of how you've established him inside. You can see he's here because he's there. I invite you and establish you. The goddess is the daughter of the snowy mountain. She gives boons and is the beloved of Shiva. With a big stomach, she is the mother of existence. I invite Gauri, she who is rays of light. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. I bow to Gauri. I invite Gauri and establish her within. Put her there. And what we're doing is making a roadmap that shows how we are establishing the order of mothers within ourselves. And we can see, we can trace that map, we can trace that path by looking at the flowers on our altar. Favorable as a lotus with a lotus-like mouth, situated in the navel of a lotus. She is the beloved of the universe, the resident of the lotus. I invite Padma, she who is the lotus, the wealth of peace and love. And she's one of the great treasures of Kuber. That Padma that signifies peace and love, and the Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The entire universe is my family. Om, I bow to Padma. I invite Padma and establish her within. The form of divinity, the goal of the universe. She wears earrings which shine with purity. Her ornaments are of red pearls. Or I invite Sachi, the goddess of purity. She's also the wife of Indra. She is the goddess who empowers the rule of the pure. I am bow to Sachi. I invite Sachi and establish her within. She gives boons to the aged of this universe. To the aged she gives the service of freedom from wasting away. To the intellect she is known as the beautiful. I invite Medha, the intellect of love. So Medha is the female form of Medha. Medhasmuni is the masculine. Medha is the mother of the intellect of love, that loving intellect. Because of my relationship, the love grows and it is embellished and it's enhanced and it means more to me. It's more beautiful because of our relationship. She is the goddess who is the cause, the giver of birth to the perceivable universe, the mother of the pranab, Om. The Vedas came from her womb. She is sacrifice incarnate. I invite Savitri, the goddess of the light. Om, I bow to Savitri. I invite Savitri and establish her within. So now here I've got rays of light, I've got the light of wisdom, I've got the protector of all the pure qualities, I've got the goddess of purity, and I've got the intellect of love, all established as the mothers within me, giving birth to the purity within me, giving birth to the divinity within me. She is the goddess who holds all weapons, and she shines with all ornaments. All the gods sing her praises and hymns. I establish Bijoya, the goddess of victory. May I have victory over all the lower impulses of this body, of this ego, of all the generals in the army of the great ego. Oh, I bow to Bijoya. I invite Bijoya and establish her within. She is the goddess who is the staff of the gods, whose name removes fear from the gods. She is the manifestation of excellence, who is praised in the three worlds. I invite Jaya, conquest. I bow to Jaya. I invite Jaya and establish her within. She is the goddess who rides upon a peacock, holding aloft a sword, energy, and a bow. I invite the commander of the forces of the gods, the slayer of Tarakasura, the illuminator of duality. I bow to the commander of the forces of the gods, Devasenai. I invite the commander of the forces of the gods and establish her within. You protect my divinity and expel all that is not divine. Dismiss all negativity. She is the firstborn of all the gods and was established first by the ancient poets. She is the goddess who gives pleasure to the ancestors. I invite Swada, one's own giving. I bow to Swada. I invite Swada and establish her within. The great giver of oblations with ghee, which are essential for the gods. You give blessings in the form of divinity. I invite Swaha. I am one with God. I bow to Swaha. I invite Swaha and establish her within. I invite the mother who is worshipped throughout the three worlds. She is the form of all welfare, and she gives blessings that shine with divinity. I am bowed to the mothers. I invite the mothers and establish them within. I invite the mothers of the universe who shine before every victory. They give various kinds of supremacy and peace and invite the joy of all the worlds. All these mothers. When you live with mother, you invite the joy of all the worlds. Sorry guys, we can't do it by ourselves. Om, I bow to the mothers of the universe. I invite the mothers of the universe and establish them within. The goddess is the cause of all gladness. The devotees who take her name, she grants, to devotees who take her name, she grants freedom from fear. She is the blossom of the lotus of gladness. Om, I invite dhriti, constancy, or consistency, or persistence, or she has many ways of explaining. Steadiness. Om, I bow to Dhriti. I invite Dhriti and establish her within. She who gives prosperity and abundance to the entire universe, bringing forth from her own body vegetables, fruits, water, and gems. I invite Pushti, increase. And she doesn't just give us water and gems and vegetables and fruits. She gives us increase in our spiritual inclination. She gives us increase. She nourishes us on every level. Om, I bow to Pushti. I invite Pushti and establish her within. Just as an example, Annapurna is a form of Pushti because Gyan Vairagya Siddhyartam Bhikshang Dehi Namostute. For the purpose of increase and perfection of wisdom and renunciation, please, you nourish us. She is the goddess who pleases the gods, always the cause of satisfaction. From the excellent face of the goddess comes blessings. I invite Tushti, satisfaction. So from Pushti comes Tushti. And when you have that state of satisfaction, you become Udas, a servant of circumstances. You are just content with whatever the circumstances prevail. Om, I bow to Tushti. I invite Tushti and establish her within. In the air, in the city, in the village, in the woods, on the mountains, in a house, she is the supreme ruler of a family of various forms of birth. I invite Durga, the reliever of difficulties. Om, I bow to the soul who is the goddess of the family. I invite the soul who is the goddess of the family and establish her within. Atmanaha, she is the soul of the Kula Devata, the goddess of the family. The soul of the goddess of the family. And now, how do we define that family? We said, Bandava Shiva Bhaktascha, Trilokya Swadeshika. All the devotees of Shiva are my family. Wherever you find a child of God, that's our family. And the three worlds is my country. That's what I call home. I bow to the soul who is the goddess of the family. I invite the soul who is the goddess of the family and establish her within. And now we recite them in order again. Om Gauri, Padma, Sachi, Meda, Savitri, Vijoya, Jaya, Devasena, Swada, Swaha, Matara, Lokamatara, Driti, Pushti, then Tushti, and the soul who is the goddess of the family with Ganesha situated before we make worship of the 16. And give us life and freedom from disease, imperishable qualities, O my mothers. Make all desired effects free from obstacles with your multitudes. Om, I bow to Ganesh and the other members of the family of goddesses and mothers. And as I recite that last verse, I point physically to each of the flowers and each of the mothers who adorns my altar. All the 16 mothers and Ganesh. Do we have questions about the 16 mothers?
I have a question.
Please.
So when you say Matrika, it means little mother, right, Swamiji?
Yes, it's little mother because it's distinguished from the Mahamaya, which is the inconceivable mother. These mothers have forms.
is there any relationship between the 16 mothers and the Ashtamatrikas who come in the 8th chapter? Some of them.
Some of them are included. You're going to see our next puja is called Durga Puja, Nava Durga Puja number 1. And then there will be Nava Durga Puja number 2. And that means there are 2 sets of 9 Durgas. And there are many sets of little mothers. There are many different descriptions of the 7 rishis. In each kalpa, the 7 rishis are different. In our puja, we use the 7 rishis that came in the Ashtamang Manvantra, from the Chandi Padoti. But in each kalpa, which is 100 revolutions of Sattva, Treta, Dwapar, and Kali Yugas, there are 7 different rishis. So, for example, Marich and Angira, they don't come in our listing of the 7 rishis, which we are using in our establishment of the Sarvabhadra Mandala. All the devatas of the Sarvabhadra Mandala have 7 different rishis. Pulascha is not included. Marich is not included. Angira is not included. But Vashishta, Kashyap, they are. Bharadwaj is included. He is not included in other listings. So they differ from kalpa to kalpa, from puja to puja. So yes, there is a relationship between all the matrikas. All the mothers work together. There's a union. You got to join the mother union. Any other questions about these mothers?
Swamiji, at the top of page 120,
yes,
it mentions imperishable qualities.
Yes.
What are these qualities, Swamiji?
Well, the imperishable ones are the ones that you want. They're the ones that are most sought after, because the perishable ones, they perish. So what are these imperishable qualities? All we can speak of is neti, na iti. You can't really define them, because that which is definable is manifest, and that which manifests becomes unmanifest. So it perishes. But the purest state, the purest form of the purest qualities will never perish. Manny, Mo, and Jack will perish, but mankind will not. Humanity will not. So the ideals, going back to Plato, the ideals, so much as it partakes of the ideal form, it is imperishable. As it is manifest, it perishes. Have you ever seen 2 things that were perfectly equal with your eyes? Probably not. They approximated equality. They fooled us into making us think they were equal, but in some way there was some distinguishing factor which made them unequal. They weren't perfect replicas of one another. Now, how do we know that they were not perfectly equal? Means that we must have had some experience of perfect equality to say that this doesn't measure up. So they approximated equality. We approximate love. Now, how do we know we're not in perfect love? Because we must have had some experience of perfect love, and perfect harmony, perfect justice, perfect equality, perfect wisdom, perfect illumination. We must have had some experience of that to say that this experience is not the same. Now, since we have had our senses, we have only experienced relative qualities. We never experienced the imperishable through our senses. Which means that we must have had the experience of the imperishable sometime when we weren't encumbered by the senses. And that means in perfect meditation, in perfect stillness, or before we came out of our mother's wombs into manifested existence. So these imperishable qualities are the perfect ideal of each quality that we strive to emulate or implement into our lives. The ideal of perfect love, the ideal of perfect justice, the ideal of perfect harmony, the ideal of perfect equality. We are seeking Purnamada, Purnamidang. This is perfect, that is perfect. From the perfect has come. And we're seeking that kind of perfection. So these are those imperishable qualities. Please.
So can Shakambari be considered to be a form of Pushti?
They're all forms of each other. There is only one God. There's only one goddess. From Sarvas Adya Mahalakshmi, Triguna Parameshwari, from Mahalakshmi came Mahakali, Mahasaraswati. Then they said, gee, now we're three. And then from each of them came a pair. And then they got married, and then they were a lot. And then they divided up the work, and they said, Brahma, you create, and Vishnu, you protect, and Shiva, you transform. And then all of this came out. So, yes, Shakambari is a form of Pushti.
Okay, one more question.
Please.
So when we say 16 mothers,
Yes.
or 8 mothers, or
Yes.
any number,
Yes.
if you take, is there any physical correspondence to some part of the body, like the chakras or something that you can?
Yes, there are. The 16 matrikas generally refer to the 16 vowels which are in the Vishuddha chakra. And we'll get to that when we study the Matrika Nyasas.
So are we activating the Vishuddha chakra by chanting this?
We're activating all the chakras. These ladies are with us. I mean, don't get too scientific about this. This is not an intellectual love affair. This is a real, heartfelt love affair. And I don't want to just establish her on this leaf of this lotus of this chakra. I want to establish her in my heart, in my brain, in my hands, so that I'm working for her, I'm thinking about her, and I'm feeling her in my being. So yes, you can put them, you can say they correspond to the 16 vowels, and the 16 vowels are in the Vishuddha chakra, and that means that all the sounds that come from these matrikas. And yes, that's true, but there's so much more to it than limiting them. Please.
Swamiji, she brought up the question about the chakra. Each petal represent the vowels, and those vowels are for the individual devis. But in the nutshell, the chakra itself represents certain qualities. So similarly, if I had to match those qualities to the group of matrikas, can I do that?
Certainly you can. These are wonderful meditative techniques. You strive for those imperishable qualities and put them into your chakra and feel them and make them manifest on each petal of each lotus in the system of chakras. And this is what the meditation does. But here we're establishing them within, and we're putting them outside. We're making a roadmap. We're making a mandala. We're making a yantra. We're constructing a yantra, which is a visual, graphic representation of how do we bring our awareness into the presence of God, bring God into ourselves, and bring godliness outside and make it manifest in every activity we perform. That's the objective of the exercise. So puja is not just the ritualistic worship on the altar, but it's the actually inculcation of the qualities of the deities into our being and into our lives and into our activities, so that everything we do throughout the daily activity is part of the puja.
Swamiji, earlier you mentioned at the beginning of the lecture that the concept of neti neti needs to be applied. We first realize each petal, then we just say apply the neti neti, so it just stays there and we move on to the next one. How would that be applicable to individual chakras or different groups of matrikas?
Well, all of the matrikas reside within the body. Not necessarily in the same positions, but all of the mothers. Kshara means nashwan, that's destroyed, transitory. Akshar means imperishable. It's akshara. Kshara means it will perish. And akshar means it will never perish. It means eternal. It means that it's indestructible. And it means a letter. And all the letters are indestructible. Because humans, individual beings, may leave. They will be destroyed. But humanity will not. The concept, the ideal of humanity will not. The words will change, and their usage will change, but their letters will not. The sound will remain eternally. And these letters are the aksharas. They're the eternal representatives of the matrikas. They are the mothers that manifest in the form of subtle vibrations. And we'll speak more about that when we get to the Matrika Nyasas and the Bhakya Matrika Nyasas. But these aksharas are the eternal representatives of the divine vibration. And they establish them, we establish them in our chakras, we establish them in our heart, we establish them in our bhava, and we establish them in our altar. Can we go on to the Nava Durga Puja? Om Bhurbhuvasva Saidaputri Iya Gachagya Tishta Saidaputri Nama Saidaputrim Abahaya Mistapayami Namaha Padyadibi Puji Namakaya Om Jagapuje Jagad Bande Sarva Shakti Sarupini Pujangriyana Komari Jagamata Namostute Om Bhurbhuvasva Brahmachari Nikya Gachakya Tishta Brahmachari Nyaki Nama Brahmacharini Mavakaya Bistapaya Minama Padyadibi Pujanam Vidaya Om Triparang Trigunadaram Margajana Swarupinim Em Trilokyam Purvanditang Deving Trimurtim Pujayamyaham Om Bhurbhuvasva Chandrakante Iyagachikya Tishta Chandrakantayi Namaha Chandrakantam Avahaya Mistapayami Namaha Padyadivi Pujanam Vidaya Om Kalakantu Kalatitam Kalyanam Hridayam Sivam Kalyanam Jananinitam Kalyanim Pujayamyam Om Bhurbhuvasva Kushmanda Iyagachagya Tishta Kushmandayi Namaha Kushmandam Avahayami Stapayami Namaha Padyadivi Pujanamidaya Om Animati Gunodaram Emakarakara Chakshusam Ananta Saktim Vedantam Kamakshim Pujayamyam Om Bhurbhuvasva Skandamata Kiya Kachakya Tishta Skandamatre Namaha Skandamatam Avahayami Stapayami Namaha Padyadivi Pujanamidaya Om Chandaviram Chandamayam Chandamunda Prapanjanim Pangdamami Chadevishim Chandikam Pujakamyam Om Bhurbhuvasva Katyayani Iya Kachakya Tishta Katyayanyaki Namaha Katyayani Mavakayami Stapayami Namaha Padyadivi Pujanamidaya Sukhanantang Karing Santang Sarvadeva Girnamaskritam Sarvabhutatmikam Deving Shambhaving Pujakamya Ambur Kalaratri Iyakachakiyatishta Kalaratri Nama Kalaratri Mavakayami Stapayami Nama Padyadipi Pujanamidaya Chandabiram Chandamaya Draktabi Japapanjanim Tandamamita Devi Singh Gayatri Pujayamyam Bupasma Gori Iyakachakiyatishta Mahagori Namaha Mahagori Mavakayami Stapayami Namaha Padyadipi Pujanamidaya Sindring Swarnaparnaging Sukaso Bhagyadayanim Santosha Jananing Deving Subhadram Pujakamya Bupasva Siddhide Iyakachakiyatishta Siddhidayagi Namaha Siddhidama Vakayami Stapayami Namaha Padyadivi Pujanamidaya Dirgami Distarekaye Boya Durga Vinasini Pujayami Sadavakya Durga Durgati Nasini Pratamam Shailaputrija Dvitiyam Brahmacharinim Tritiyam Chandrakantati Kushmandeti Chaturtakam Panchamang Skandamatriti Shashtang Katyayani Tija Saptamang Kalaratriti Mahagoriti Chashtamam Navamang Siddhidatrija Nava Durga Prakirtita Hudanyetani Namani Brahmane Pamakatmana Sri Durga Namaha. Now these 9 Durgas, 9 forms of the reliever of sufferings are really an important formula for us to remember. They take us from our first inspiration all the way to the perfection of our goal. Whatever our goal may be, let's discuss the worship of the 9 forms of Durga. Now we have, remember, our beatitudes, our vyahritis. Oh, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body. On every level, this is important for us. Goddess of inspiration, come here, stay here. I bow to the goddess of inspiration. I invite the goddess of inspiration and establish her within. You are being worshipped with water for washing your feet. Om, you are worshipped in the world, praised in the world as the intrinsic nature of all energy. O ever pure one, please accept this worship. We bow to you, O Mother of the Universe. Now, Shaila means the mountain, that's Himalaya. Putri means the god, the daughter. She's the daughter of Himalayas. She's Parvati, and then traditionally all the sadhus go for inspiration to the Himalayas to begin their meditations. So they go to the daughter of the mountains. They go to the daughter of the Himalayas, and they say, "Give us inspiration." And it's true. I have to tell you personally, from my own experience, I spent many years in the Himalayas, and every tree will sing every mantra along with you. All you've got to do is sit there, and the mountains make japa for you. And the Himalayas, you've been to the Himalayas. The Himalayas are very special. Every tree in the forest sings the mantra. And the rivers, as they wash down you can hear the sounds of the mantras in the river. You can hear every tree as you walk through the forest, they all raise up their limbs and say, "Blessings, blessings." It's fun to go to the Himalayas. So the goddess of inspiration is the first. We bow to you, O Mother of the Universe. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body, goddess of learning, come here, stay here. I bow to the goddess of learning. I invite the goddess of learning and establish her within. You are being worshipped with water for washing your feet. Om, you are the residence of the 3 cities, the support of the 3 gunas, the intrinsic nature of the road to wisdom. Without knowledge, how will we ever inculcate wisdom? The goddess who is praised in the three worlds, O image of the three, I am worshiping you. And now a lot of people like to try to make a correspondence between brahmachari and celibacy. And traditionally there are 4 ashramas in stages in our lives: brahmachari, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Brahmachari are the formative years where people learn how to make a contribution to this world. As they're not married, traditionally this means that they are celibate. But celibacy is not brahmachari. Brahma means God, and char means to move. And who walks with God is a brahmachari. And who learns sacred knowledge is practicing brahmachari. And so celibacy may or may not be a part of it, but brahmachari means sacred studies and sacred knowledge that makes us to walk with God. So she is the second. You got an inspiration, you start learning. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body, goddess of practice, come here. Stay here. I bow to the goddess of practice. I invite the goddess of practice and establish her within. You are being worshipped with water for washing your feet. Om, you divide time but remain beyond division. Welfare in the heart of Lord Shiva. Always grant welfare. O Divine Mother, I worship the goddess of welfare. So here she is, the goddess of welfare, who brings to us to our practice. We take the inspiration, start learning, we take the knowledge, and we cultivate a practice. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body, goddess of refinement. Come here, stay here. I bow to the goddess of refinement. I invite the goddess of refinement and establish her within. You are being worshipped with water for washing your feet. Om, you give rise to the qualities of every atom, the eyes that perceive all form. You distinguish the infinite energy. O eyes of desire, I am worshiping you. So, kush means hot, heat, tap. And anda means the egg. Who heats the egg? She refines, she adds heat. What do you do when you want to purify your food? You add heat. She cooks the egg. So now we've taken the inspiration, we cultivated the knowledge, we began the practice, and now we start heating the egg. We refine it and make it so it's pure and perfect. As perfect as we can make it. Our asana, our stillness, our pranayama, our ucharan, our mantra, the way we use our mantras, the way we use our mudras, the way we perform our kriyas. Every action becomes an expression of perfection. It's a dance, a ballet of absolute equilibrium. Om. You give rise to the qualities of every atom. Let's go on. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body, goddess who nurtures divinity, come here and stay here. I bow to the goddess who nurtures divinity. I invite the goddess who nurtures divinity and establish her within. You are being worshipped with water for washing your feet. Om, you are the warrior against anger, the limitation of anger, the stupidity of anger you cut asunder. Boy, is it dumb to get angry. I bow to her, the supreme goddess. I worship she who tears apart thoughts. So here now we've got our practice, and we're making it to refinement. And as we refine the practice, she takes away all the impurities and all the negativities, and it nurtures the divinity. Skandamata, she's the mother of the divine. And she brings that divinity to us. She is the mother of the general of the gods. She is the mother of the leader of purity. And we cut asunder all the anger and all the negativities that keep us from being completely pure. We nurture the divinity within. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body, goddess who is ever pure. Come here, stay here. I bow to the goddess who is ever pure. I invite the goddess who is ever pure and establish her within. You are being worshipped with water for washing your feet. Om, the bliss of happiness, cause of peace. All the gods continually bow to you. You are the soul of all existence, O goddess. You are who belong to Shiva. I worship you. Now, once the divinity becomes nurtured and we become ever pure, we just no malevolence exudes from our body or from our being. We have only best wishes for all. Our every intention remains pure and clear. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body, dark night, surrendering the ego. Come here, stay here. Om, I bow to the dark night. I invite the dark night and establish her within. You are being worshipped with water for washing your feet. Om, you are the warrior against anger, the limitation of anger. You cut asunder the seed of desire. I bow to her, the supreme goddess. I worship Gayatri, the three forms of wisdom. Or the wisdom of the three goddesses. We told the story already about Gayatri's manifestation. So here, the dark night of overcoming this duality, this ignorance, this attachment, all the seeds of desire, she has taken away, and all that exists is Savikalpa. That Savikalpa Samadhi, where I am and you are. And there's a relationship between us. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body, the great radiant light. Come here, stay here. I bow to the great radiant light. I invite the great radiant light and establish her within. You are being worshipped with water for washing your feet. Om, beautiful with a golden colored body, bestower of happiness and beauty. O mother of the universe, the goddess of contentment, I worship the excellent of excellence. So, oh great radiant light, we've taken the practice, we cultivated we've refined the practice until we become nurtured with divinity. We take that divine spark and put it into our intention, which is ever pure, and we surrender all the darkness and become one with the great radiant light. Om, the infinite beyond conception, the gross body, the subtle body, and the causal body, the grantor of perfection. Come here, stay here. I bow to the grantor of perfection and invite the grantor of perfection and establish her within. You are being worshipped with water for washing your feet. Om, you are the destroyer of fear from difficulties for me, from the effects of wickedness. I always worship with devotion the reliever of difficulties who destroys all difficulties. And here we become totally free. Om, first is the goddess of inspiration, and second the goddess of learning. Third is the goddess of practice, and the goddess of refinement is fourth. Fifth is the goddess who nurtures divinity. Sixth is the one who is ever pure. Seventh is the goddess of the dark night of surrendering the ego, and the goddess of the great radiant light is eighth. Ninth is the goddess who grants perfection. The 9 Durgas, relievers of difficulties, have been enumerated, and these names have been revealed by the great soul of the Supreme Himself. Om, we bow to the respected reliever of difficulties. Now here we have a formula for success in any endeavor that we choose. Whether you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an Indian chief, these 9 Durgas are going to take you there. You take an inspiration and you start learning. You take the knowledge and you put it to practice. You take the practice and you refine it. And you refine the practice until it becomes a divine expression. It's an art. You take that art form and surrender all your desires and make it ever pure and surrender all your selfish motivation, and then you surrender your ego, become one with the great radiant light, and ninth is the grantor of perfection. And this is the path that has been proclaimed from the beginning of creation by Brahma himself. I rest my case. Do you have any questions? Please.
Can you speak to a little bit about the dark night, surrendering the ego, as when it comes to any practice that we try to do, even if you take it in the normal world, becoming a doctor or an Indian chief, how does the surrendering the ego, how does it happen? What exactly does it mean from you?
It means to me, and this again comes from that branch of knowledge which is in the neti land. But to me, it means that I focus so sincerely, so clearly, with such clarity that duality ceases to exist, and therefore I become united with whatever activity I'm performing. I cease to exist. Like Thoreau said, sometimes I sit on Walden Pond and I cease to be. The same way, sometimes we become so engrossed in the activity that we don't notice the passage of time. We don't notice that you don't feel that your legs are aching or your back is hurting or you want to move or get up. Sometimes you get so deep into the trance that you forget about I. Surrendering the ego. This is also depicted in the Ratri Shukta, which precedes the Chandi, the goddess of darkness, who she exposes the light. But so long as we're in the darkness of ignorance, all we see is duality. And we forget all about unity. And we see here is a creation comprised of several individual forms, of which I'm one, and I want my form to prevail over all the others.
So is it complete absorption in the task at hand? Is that?
That is meditation. And that is the principle of the dark night that we go through in order to become one with the great radiant light.
Complete absorption in a task, what does that have to do with dark night? If I'm, for example, sweeping the floor of the mandir, I'm trying to be completely absorbed in that task.
Now, as long as you are trying, then you're in the dark night. When you cease to be and only the broom is an extension of your hand, and you're so full of love and appreciation for the privilege of getting to to perform that motion, that expression of your love and your respect for your community and your guru and the gods, then you've overcome the dark night. You've overcome the ego. You can't do it yourself. She must do it for you. I cannot combat my ego. As long as I try, I'm there. My objective is to become so absorbed in my love and devotion for you that the ego of its own accord dissolves. And you become the primary occupation of my thoughts, of my mind. You are my contemplation, not me. As long as I am my contemplation, the ego's in charge. When you become the most important being to me, so much more important than me, then the ego is taken away of its own accord. of your grace. My kripa. What I've done is what I get. And if I love you so much that no other exists, then that's what I get. I think we're running low on time, so we'll continue this discussion in the next session. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.